Yeah, so I just had to walk those guys. Basically, it was frustrating because they had come over. This is probably their fifth or sixth deal, and every time I got to use the translator, and it's just, I mean, it's frustrating. But this time I tried to be very patient, and I just lost my patience. And basically, they had bought the Recoil Audio MX65 pair, which I don't like doing this, and I will probably not do it anymore. Lesson learned, which was that they didn't want to buy the equipment and then go resell it. They wanted to bring clients over and then have me falsely mark it up so that way they could make a commission. I said, no, just, charge more. And they were like, no. So we negotiated with this guy that just kept lifting up his shirt and rubbing his belly, and it's one of those guys. And I thought he bailed on the deal, but they showed up yesterday, and the deal was for $500. They gave me $500, and then I gave him back $80, basically a commission. And then he texts me today, and then he calls me and he says, because I always make fun of him. I'm like, you need to text me because I don't understand Spanish on the phone. Like, I can catch some words, but I'm not proficient. And so he texts me and he tells me he has a problem with one of the mids. It's having a problem. I was like, okay. I said, bring it over so that we can test it and evaluate it. And so I bring it over, and immediately I push on the cone and I can hear some rubbing, and I go, because lately we've been Recoil has been getting a lot of returns on them, and I was like, let me check this out. So I go ahead and remove the tweeter, which all you have to do is take the label off on the back. It's actually a metal label, which I thought was pretty cool. You got to remove the metal label, and then there's a single number 2 Phillips. You just unscrew that, and then there's a secondary rubber spider that's meant to keep it waterproof and also keep stuff out of the gap attached to the pole piece of the tweeter. And so I just gave him out the tweeter. Usually the tweeter is what survives, not the mid. And so then again, I tested it to make sure, to see if there was rubbing. There was rubbing, so I cut it open, pulled it out, and the voice coil had slinkied, and I smelled it, and I was like, okay, yeah, he burned it. And so then I explained it to him like 3 times that burning does not, and then I give him the old example of, if I sold you a car and you wrapped it around a tree, and then you showed back up at my house the next day and asked for a refund because it was defective. I'm like, that's not how that works. And so technically what I did was I told the guy, the owner, the end user, that I sold I sold him the pair for $160, which is like double even, whatever Amazon cost. And again, that was to inflate the price. And so I said, normally I would have to break up the set on a brand new pair, and so half of 160 would be 80. And I said, but I'll give it to you for 40, which is, what the cost should be. And the guy complained. He was like, no. And then, again, this is all through text, so it's taking forever. The end user said, I will give you $30 and then bring you more clients. And I said, why would I want more clients that abuse their equipment and want stuff for free? I don't want that kind of client. And the go-between, the guy that was installing, was standing right there watching and listening to all of this. And what he could have done, and probably what he should have done, and what I would have allowed, is if he just said, hey man, I'll give you the extra $10. Not a big deal. We'll call it a day, and that's it. Sorry, my phone got a little hot. So that would have been the smart thing of the installer guy to do, which was just give the $10 out of your pocket, replace the driver, tell the end user, don't crank them up so much, and that's the end of it. Now, a couple of red flags. So the guy showed up, he wasn't lifting up his shirt and rubbing his belly anymore. This time he was still drinking, because the other day that he came over, he was already drunk and driving. And so this time he still had the beer in his hand. Somebody else was driving, but then as they were driving away, I noticed that they had the little license plate cover so the speed cameras don't get you. And I was like, okay. So there's a way to beat tickets. You don't need to cheat like that. That you're actually asking for trouble when you put a license plate cover on it like that, but that's another story. So anyways, they were like begging. And then also a lot of, and it's not just Mexicans, but a lot of guys will say, you know, oh, we did so many deals, you know, like Ray did, like, I've been your friend for 10 years. And I was like, if you're my friend, then you would know not to do this. Or if you're my friend, you would just give me more money to fix your fuck up. So nobody likes to think about how that part of the relationship should work, right? So like when somebody starts a new business, you go and buy some bullshit. Even if they're doing Amway, you go and buy some bullshit. That's how you support your friends. Would you rather just give them straight money? Yeah, and that's what I do. I talked about this about Girl Scouts. When a Girl Scout, I see him, you know, like, again, you want to reward the pretty ones. You don't want to reward the ugly ones. But if you see some pretty ones and they're nice, right? They don't assault you when you're coming out of the grocery store. Would you like to buy some cookies? And I go, yeah, sure. They're like, give me a box. And they're like, that'll be $10. You're like, Jesus Christ, for fucking 50 cent worth of fucking. I tell you what, we found the fudge covered graham crackers at Walmart, great value. They're under $2 and they are amazing. But that's another story. So anyways, you know, if you want to support a kid like that, what you do is you just give them $10. Say, keep this money. This is for you. Do not buy a thing of cookies, blah, 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 because the cookie company is ripping off the Girl Scouts. The Girl Scouts organization is ripping off the Girl Scouts. Don't do that. Just give them money. Like when some dumb kid wants to sell you fucking chocolate or candy bars in the summertime, like just give them $20 and say, don't come back. Here you go. And so that's what I did. So I said, tell you what, I'm just going to give you this for free, and then you guys never come back. And then all of a sudden they were sorry. All of a sudden they were compliant. All of a sudden they're like, no, es bueno, es bueno. And I was like, nope, bye. And then I'm like, I don't even know how to say get the fuck out of here in Spanish. I was like, chinga out of here, get the fuck out of here. And so then I walked them. And the reason why I walk and the reason why I film people is because there's another video that I did where there was a grown man, easily in his 50s, that was working with some plumbing company, and he's like, I heard you're the best. And I was like, I am. I'm the best in Arizona. You know, hands down, that's not a problem. And he did the same thing. He burned up his woofer, and I said, you know, burning is not a defect. I don't know how to explain that. I said, you read any warranty, and it says burning is not a defect. And also, when you submit your product back for, you know, consideration, they will consider. They don't have to give you a free one. So this problem is actually propagated by companies like Kicker, who charge way too much for something, right, at the dealer. And now it's up to the dealer whether or not they want to pacify you. And that's what they're doing. They're pacifying you. And so then you get people like Zach that, you know, I want a better deal. And it's like, no, you don't get a better deal. Fuck off. And they're like, well, I'm not going to bring customers to you. Or I'm going to, you know, and that's when they start using terrorism to get their way. Or worse, violence to get their way. And so that's, again, you don't want to reward that behavior. Absolutely not. And you have to be brave when doing something like this. And this is not just car audio. This is like, you know, any kind of area. Fucking, even in a bank. Who was it? I was watching something the other day. The guy was like robbing a bank, and he just, I don't know, he got really violent, and it was over nothing. I was like, fuck, Jesus Christ, man. And so anyways, it's a good lesson learned. You can't always tell, you know, who's going to be who. Like in the last video, I just told you about the white lady in the white Hummer. You know, usually when you see an H2 or some sort of vehicle that is excessive, those people are typically problems. The middle-aged black man in a Mercedes or BMW, problem. Their expectations and their it's not even like a self-esteem, it's a delusion. Because if it was real self-esteem, they would act different. They would act with more integrity and more with honor. And they don't. They want free stuff. And a lot of times, if you don't want to give them free stuff, then all of a sudden you're a racist and all this other bullshit or whatever. Or you don't like gay people, or you don't like straight people, or whatever it is. It doesn't matter. It's garbage. So, but the big video that I just uploaded is still uploading, so you'll probably see this one first. But there's a big one that I just uploaded about choosing the proper speaker box. So I'm going to give it away, which is the best bet is always ported, but sealed is always a good second. And then there are no other choices than that, okay? I love you guys. Talk to you later.